Are you looking for ways to eat healthily without spending a lot of money? Well, today I'm going to go over 3 tips on how you can eat well on a budget. So my first tip is to bulk buy. So for instance, you can get about 5 kilograms worth of black beans for something like £12.50, which is about £2.50 a kilo. So it's not just limited to black beans either. It's pretty much any non-perishables you can think of. So pasta, rice, beans, lentils, quinoa, basically anything that you can store in the cupboard for a long period of time. And also, a lot of it's really easily available. For instance, a lot of supermarkets have 10 kilogram bags of rice for something like £8, which is a really good deal. There are 2 things I would recommend thinking about though when bulk buying. So the first is to actually make sure it's cheaper to buy in bulk. While it is often the case that it is cheaper, sometimes the price per kilo is slightly higher in these large items. So just make sure that you always check first. And the second thing to be aware of is making sure that you are going to use all of that item up before its shelf life ends. While I say this is best done with non-perishables, even they do have a sort of extended lifespan, so it might be sort of a year or 2 years, but make sure you're able to use that all up in that time, because the last thing you want to do is have to throw away 2 kilograms worth of rice because you couldn't finish it in time, and doing that would be more expensive in the long run anyway. So make sure 1, it's cheaper, and 2, that you're going to use it, and you should be saving yourself a lot of money doing it that way. So my second tip is to buy frozen vegetables. While sometimes you'll find that fresh vegetables are the cheaper option, sometimes frozen vegetable is slightly cheaper. The big advantage that frozen vegetables have over fresh is you don't have to use them all up at the same time. This allows you to basically stock your freezer with a huge variety of vegetables, and you don't have to worry about them suddenly going out of date. So this is great if you're sort of living on your own or you've got a small family. You can quite happily stock your freezer up, and every time you go to cook you can be quite happy that you know that there's a huge variety of colours and flavours of vegetables all there ready for you. Whereas if you went to buy the same variety in fresh, after sort of 5 days that might all go off. So you're not going to be able to have as nice a variety of vegetables, and it's all about the variety when it comes to health. Often people say eat the rainbow. Well, it is a little bit more complicated than that. It is definitely a good idea to get as many colours in your diet as you can. And frozen vegetables are a great way to do this because you don't have to worry about the shelf life. So my third and final tip for the day is to meal prep. So I know that cooking is something that takes up a lot of time, and some of us are really busy, have work full-time jobs, or we just have loads of other things we need to do, and the last thing we want to do is come back and do 2 hours worth of cooking. So meal prepping is a great way to reduce this time. While it might take sort of an hour and a half to make one dish, it's not going to take you 5 times that amount of time to make 5 times the amount of food. So whenever you're cooking a meal, if you think, how can I make this for double, triple, 10 times the amount, and then why not do that, and then either have the leftovers throughout the week, or you could freeze it all and then have it whenever you want. Doing this will save you a lot of time, and you can make sure that every meal you have is nice and healthy. All you need to do is reheat your previous meal, which takes you 5 minutes rather than an hour and a half. And you can make sure that meal is a lot healthier than, say, the pizza you would have just thrown in the oven, or the ready meal you'd have just put in the microwave for 10 minutes. If you're struggling with how to get started with meal preps, there's plenty of other YouTube channels which have already done really good examples of different things you can use for meal preps, and it's something I might do as well in the future if you want me to. So those were my 3 tips for today. So bulk buy, look for frozen vegetables, and meal prep. So if you've got any other tips, let me know in the comments below, and if there's demand for it, I'll make a part 2 to this video. And until next time, stay healthy.